Okay guys, welcome back. This is Monday Gunday. Today we have episode 16, and today we have the new Springfield 1911 double stack Prodigy. In particular, the 5-inch version that comes with the Hex Dragonfly red dot sight on it. This is a pretty cool gun. Got a lot of hype at the launch. A lot of influencers got a hold of them, and you guys probably know all about them. Well, we finally got our hands on one to kind of review and to shoot a little bit and test out, and this is a cool gun. Let's get into some of the features and some of the cool things that I like about this gun. One of the coolest things about this gun is Springfield decided to come out with it at a very affordable price point for a 2011 or double stack 1911. This thing, MSRP's, this model in particular with the optic at $16.99, and it comes with 2 magazines and a nylon case, not a whole lot more than that. You can get it without this particular optic. It's still optic ready though for $14.99, and that is either the 5-inch or the 4 1/4. This is the bigger of the two, which is the one I would prefer because I think big guns are cool. So. Also, it's a 5-inch bull barrel match grade. It's a forged stainless steel. It's supposed to be super accurate and a good barrel. Overall height, I believe, is 5.5 inches. Overall length is 8.5 inches. The weight unloaded is 33 ounces, and the capacity is 17 plus 1 in the standard flush magazine, or 20 plus 1 in the extended. There's also an optional 26 round magazine that is even bigger, which is pretty cool that that is an option. But it comes with these 2 magazines, so at least one is extended. So Springfield wanted to kind of establish their position in the 2011 game, since it's super popular right now. Tons of double stack 1911 makers and 2011 makers, and honestly, I don't know what the difference is. I think they're all cool. Let us know in the comment section what you think the actual difference is between double stack 1911 and a 2011, because the internet seems to be kind of torn on that subject, but that doesn't really matter. So they took the classic 1911 firearm and added this polymer grip to allow for double stack magazines, so you get that that round capacity, right? And it's a steel frame and everything, and it feels really nice. They also added some performance oriented features, such as the ambi thumb safety, the optics ready system, the rail, and the grip is still pretty slim without getting too fat there. The optics system is the agency optic system, the AOS. This was designed by Agency Arms, and it's pretty cool because it allows you to use whichever optic you want to run. It has its own plate with a rear sight. So all optics have different heights, right? So no matter which one you get, it's all going to match up with the rear sight and the front sight post. So you get a co-witness, and all the heights are adjusted. Like, it'll fit and it'll just work as designed, rather than having all these funky plates that you have to swap in and out, and then sometimes you don't get to run irons, sometimes you do, but you can't even see them through the window because they're too short or whatever it is. So that's pretty cool. This particular sight though is not my favorite. I'll just say that for now. But anyways, it's a cool gun. Excited to go shoot it, see how it performs. And so let's head up to Defender Ranch to run our tests on this gun. Okay guys, we made it out to the range, Defender Ranch over here. It's awesome, but it's 2 degrees, so cold. Got the Prodigy X300 running out of the Prodigy X300 Axis Elite holster. So we'll run through our 3 standard drills, starting with a back-to-back build drill at 7 yards, a back-to-back 3 reload 3 at 7 yards, and then a 10-yard B8 untimed just for score. See how she does. We actually have 2 Prodigies here today. This is a fairly new one with the Springfield optic on there. And then we have a much more broken in Prodigy that we might shoot a little bit. You might see it in some B-roll, has a different optic on it. And it's interesting how these two compare. This slide feels, they both feel super smooth. This one just feels a lot slower, lots more sluggish. The other one cycles a lot quicker. So maybe we'll catch that in some slow-mo B-roll or something. But let's go get the build drill going. And just for consistency's sake, I'll take off the jacket, even though my draw is still going to be painfully slow with a 2011 or a double stack 1911.
This is some commitment for you guys, because it's freezing out here.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anything for you guys. Okay. Let's check, see if, oh yeah, she's ready to go. Okay. Colin, will you do me the honors?
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
So 2 of those are the exact same hold.
Key hold. Nice.
Yeah, I pressed out and it was something weird on the grip and draw, and I wasn't. The dot was way off. But anyways.
Well, you're manipulating that safety.
Yeah.
Which is different for you, right?
It is different, and I've never been a fan of grip safeties because I like to get real high up in the grip, and sometimes I don't fully activate it. I don't know. I think it's a combination of big hands and where my support hand is placed. But we wanted to run it without any like Ranger band or anything like that, just so it's a true stock setup, I guess. All right, so that one was slow but clean. Let's see if we can speed it up a little bit.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by. Sped it up a little bit, 257.
Yeah, still slow. It's that first shot's probably about 1.5 seconds. Just getting it out of the holster, making sure the grip's where I needed to be, flipping that safety, and then getting that sight picture. It's just taking a little bit more time, but you can definitely speed that up and get faster with actual dedicated practice. But I will say, so we're doing the build drill to test how fast you can run the trigger and maintain your sights on target, right, and manage that recoil. So super soft, smooth, easy gun to shoot, especially with training. So 3 reload 3. We'll see how the magwell or the lack of magwell is, and then hit that slide release. Probably have to go support hand thumb or I'd really have to break my grip to get it with my strong hand thumb. So we'll see. Yeah, you can get little extensions and stuff, but not today. Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
See, I went for it. I went for it with my, geez, that was trash.
Is that specific to this gun compared to your XCI, because for me that's like a general 2011 thing is I can't hit it strong hand, I have to hit support hand. Otherwise I'd bring my grip every single time.
I think that's pretty much across the board with most 2011s, and that's how I do it with my staccato. I just naturally went that time with my, even though I just talked about it. That shows you how dumb I am. I kind of want to redo that one altogether just because it was just completely garbage.
We can maybe just show the target.
Yeah, we'll show the target. So after the reload, I threw these two, and that's just embarrassing. So.
But before you go back, these two were back to back in a bill drill, which is nuts.
Yeah, this is not a hole, it's just a tear in the cardboard, by the way. So, okay, forget about that first run. We'll do it again. Double check, okay.
Ready.
I'm ready.
Stand by.
Okay.
Sluggish thing.
I'm kind of glad that happened. That was clean and faster still. But, oh yeah, you can zoom in. So, what we talked about earlier, and I think because it's so cold, any lube or grease or anything that might be in the gun is probably a little bit thicker due to the cold, and it seemed like that one just didn't have enough, oomph, if you will, going back to get the slide to pick up that round after the reload and make it all the way home. So I had to help it a little bit, but I assume in normal warm conditions that wouldn't be the case, but still, if it's cold and you have to defend yourself and you have to reload, heaven forbid. That's how you get killed in the street.
You should, break your stuff in.
Yeah, call in. Okay, we'll run it one more time and then we'll do the B8.
Are you ready?
Ready.
Stand by.
See? What was it?
5, 6, 7.
All right, so let's test something real quick. Slide lock, just a very controlled situation. Empty chamber, round in. Oh, yeah. So I could be making contact with the slide. Let's try it again. Okay, empty chamber. You'll see how slow that is. And it barely makes any noise.
Look at the frozen stuff on your beard.
Oh, is it? Nice. All right. Let's get loaded up for the B8. Okay, so this gun is pleasant to shoot, absolutely, and you can shoot it accurately, fast and accurate. Obviously, forget about those. That was my fault, 100%. The reloads aren't bad, considering no magwell. You just really have to have massive thumbs or get used to the motion of hitting that slide release with your left hand thumb and then establishing your grip as efficiently as you can, right? So that's something I definitely should practice, but it's a red dot, you can shoot it just fine. The trigger, recoil management, all that feels really good. So I'm liking it. I'm liking shooting this so far. We'll just see just how accurate we can be with the sights trigger on the B8.
I guess Lou. I know, Lou. Just let me say the word finicky bitch. I want to be finished.
Okay, 10 yards, no time limit on this. Going for a perfect score. Okay. right, it should be 100. I mean, there's a red dot on it. There's no excuse for not 100. Okay, good. I called this shot. I know exactly which one that was, but almost all in the X-ring, which, I mean, math checks out. It's a 5-inch-ish double stack 1911 with a red dot. So trigger's not bad. For a 2011, like if you've shot like super high-end 2011s, you might not be super impressed with this one, but it's still a great trigger. My biggest issue is the optic. It's a fairly small window, and I even had the dot turned down just so I could barely see it, and the dot's still pretty big. So we'll double check what size dot that is in this model, but I definitely prefer an optic with a bigger window and a smaller dot and a better button system. This one just has the single button that just cycles up and down through, or maybe it just goes bright to low and then back to the full brightness. It's an accurate gun. That did well. I like this thing. This thing's cool. So let's take it back down south to the armory, and we will score it up and let you guys know what we thought. All right, we are back, and we will take you through our 10 category rating system. Each category is worth 10 points possible for a total perfect score of 100 points. Starting off, we will cover the cost. Like I mentioned previously, this particular model, the MSRP is $16.99, and if you get it without the optic, it is $14.99. The optic alone, MSRP is for about $250, so you are getting kind of a good deal on that package setup. And all things considered, for a 2011 or a double stack 1911, $1,700 is pretty good. That's a pretty good price. So my score for this gun, I am giving it an 8 for cost. Take that with a grain of salt though, because it is a lot more expensive than other guns we've reviewed, but for its category, it's a very, very affordable 1911. Next category is ergonomics. Ergonomics is getting a 7. They're good. I like the way this gun feels. I like the safety's all right. The trigger's good. The slide serrations are good. Feels pretty nice, but it's not great. There are some things like the slide stop that are kind of difficult to manipulate. It's very small. The mag release isn't great, and if you have large hands, you're probably going to be feeling the other end of the mag release protrude from the grip, kind of poke you on the other side. Not a huge deal, but just little things. No mag well, but overall good ergonomics, so gets a 7. Moving on to trigger, this is also getting a 7. It is a, about your average 1911, 2011 trigger feel to it. Not great. It is a lot better than almost every striker fired stock trigger out there, but for a 1911, it's definitely not the best. And if you're comparing it to some of those higher end 1911 or 2011s, you're going to probably be let down quite a bit. I believe it is adjustable, and there are options to upgrade it from other companies. So that's that. Bore axis also getting a 7. For a 1911 and 2011, they're all going to score pretty similarly, just due to the design and the mechanics of the gun, how it operates. You're not going to get a whole lot higher than that, but it's definitely not the lowest bore axis out of the guns we've reviewed, but it's not terrible. It doesn't make a ton of impact on your shooting performance, at least not in my opinion. Next up is sights, and this one kind of has an advantage, but you're going to be surprised by the score I give it, because it came with the red dot. I'm still giving it a score of a 5 because unfortunately, out of all the red dots I've ever shot in my life on a pistol, this one is my least favorite. The iron sights aren't terrible, but they're not great. I don't really like this U-notch in the back, and the front post is kind of fat. And looking through this, maybe we'll be able to see this in like some B-roll or something, but it's a very, very, very small window on a big gun. I don't get it. It's roughly the size, the window size is about the same as the RMR. It's a little bit shorter, I believe. Just comparing the two side by side, it looks a little bit shorter and a little bit wider, which in my opinion is not the route you want to go. I would go taller, especially because you have these co-witnessing iron sights. So a lot of it is obscured, it's a small window, and the dot seems massive to me. Even after turning it down as much as I could while still being able to visibly see the dot, like on the B8 drill that we shot, it still seemed like a pretty big dot. I believe this model is a 3.5 MOA, but to me it looked more like a 6 or 7 MOA. But one thing I do know is, depending on your eyesight, if you have any sort of like astigmatism or vision issues, that dot could look very different to a lot of people. And I know some people do prefer the larger dots. Me personally, I like a 1 MOA dot. So that's kind of where it suffered. So score of a 5 for sights. I'm sorry. Next up is aftermarket support. And just with some quick Google searches, I realized there's quite a bit of aftermarket support for this. You can get different sights, triggers, springs, hammers, magwells, grips. You can get a lot of different things from a few different companies to really upgrade this and get it just running how you like it. So aftermarket support's getting an 8. Round capacity is also getting a score of an 8. 17+1's like pretty decent, but it's cool that they include a 20+1 for your spare if you're running appendix, that spare mag carrier, which is like the standard in my opinion. Sucks that it only comes with 2 mags, but at least one is extended, and you can even get bigger ones like the 26 rounder. So that's cool. Serviceability is getting a score of a 7 because it is not impossible and it's not too difficult. It is a little bit more complicated than your typical striker fired pistol. You can do a lot of it toolless. You just kind of got to figure out how these guns work and you know, get up to speed on how to field strip it and what parts do what. Because at first it seems kind of a little overwhelming, or it can be for some newcomers, but not terrible. Value is our next category. Hear me out. This one's getting a score of a 9. I don't know if we've scored any guns that high or higher. Maybe we've scored one out of 9. Definitely no 10s. I thought this is an incredible value. If this is what you want, if you want 2011, double stack 1911, optics ready, or even with an optic, and you're okay with this one, $1,700, that is a tremendous value for this gun. You don't get a ton with it. You get the 2 mags, which is a good start. Additional Springfield mags are $60, whether it's a 17, 20, or 26 rounder, they're all $60, so not crazy expensive either. You can buy a couple extra mags and be good to go with a good holster. So that's a good value in my opinion. And finally, our last category is cool factor. Just even without shooting this, it's a big heavy gun, which is cool. Carry big guns, shoot big heavy guns, that's cool. Bull barrel, it's got an optic system, that's pretty good. And it shoots nicely. It is like a simple looking gun, like it doesn't look too crazy, but I mean, that is kind of cool in its own way. Sucks that this is the optic that they went with, and it sucks that it doesn't come with a magwell, but what can you do? This one's getting a score of an 8. So those are the 10 categories. They're all scored. That is a total score of 74 out of 100. So that's a pretty good score. I believe that's like near the top of the scores that we've given guns. So we'll list them all out somewhere on the screen, and let us know what you guys thought of the Prodigy. I thought it was a cool gun. I like it a lot. And don't forget to check us out on our website and on our social pages. Give us a follow. Be sure to subscribe here. Check out our cool holsters, like this Moro holster in Hunter Orange. Looks pretty cool. This would be a good kind of hiking, backpacking, level 2 retention rig. Sweet setup. So check us out. Again, we appreciate you. Stay safe, stay strapped, and tell your friends about the channel. We'll catch you next time.